Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Super Talk. Excited to be here with you all. I'm here with Mr. Jake Berry, who is the producer of the Super Talk and also the director for community information. Jake, we have some special guests with us today. Tell us about them.
Well, from our police department, we have Chief Joey Silva and Captain John Montemayor, and they're here to talk to us about our safety and our security here at McAllen ISD.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure to get out to our community and share our safety protocols in the wake of what happened in Uvalde, the heartbreaking events at Robb Elementary, and we wanted to make sure our community knew that we had safety protocols in place that are world-class. We put out a thought exchange today. Jake, tell us about it.
For that thought exchange, and the question for that thought exchange was, in your opinion, what should McAllen ISD focus on regarding the safety and security of our students and staff? We had 924 participants, 726 thoughts, and they were rated 9,391 times. So a very great turnout for this.
So we do want to thank our community for being involved in the thought exchange because it gives us valuable information and it makes sure that we discuss what everybody feels important. So what were the top rated thoughts, Jake?
Well, our top rated thoughts, they all are going to stem around security. And really it comes down to they want to see securing of all entrances in schools. It lowers the chance of being breached. And that's the main one. That's top thought.
The top rated was secure all entrances. And I am proud to say that we do have security foyers at all of our schools. We're working on the one at Memorial right now. So we're coming up with a plan to make sure that we get that done as soon as possible. But all other schools have security foyers. And even at Memorial, we do have systems and processes in place. We have officers that are stationed close to the entrance to make sure that we address safety as kids come in. But as far as traffic coming in and out, we have huts on the outside. We have officers that are on patrol at all schools. Really, there's patrolling vehicles, but there's how many police officers do we have at the high school, Jake?
We have 4 at the high school level. We have 1 at the middle school and 1 at every single elementary.
Yeah, proud to say that. I know that in 2018, we hired 19 additional officers, and those officers provide safety for our students at the elementary. These are certified peace officers that are armed and ready to respond to any crisis situation. So we're very fortunate, Jake. And we were talking about how many departments actually have how many districts actually have a robust department like ours? And
here in the Rio Grande Valley, there are only 2 districts that have a police force with armed police officers present at every campus, and we're the other one.
All right, so that makes us proud, and it just says that our board and our administration is committed to the safety and security of our students. So I wanted parents to rest assured that we're not only providing your children with a world-class education, but we're also providing them with a safe environment because we have protocols in place. So, Jake, what was our second rated thought on the thought exchange?
I'm going to combine 2 because they're very similar. But what we have on that one is putting security cameras at the entrances and exits of the schools, safer doors, but also to have more police on campus and install more cameras and have them buzzed in from the outside and don't allow anyone to enter until being buzzed in.
Now, one thing we do know, as you mentioned, we have 4 police officers at the high school. We have 1 at the middle school and 1 at the elementary school. So we're doing our very best, and they're certified peace officers to make sure that their systems and chief and captain will get into the details of more specifics. But I'm proud to say that we do the very best that we can to ensure that we keep our kids safe. And with regard to security cameras, we're doing our very best to make sure that we position them in areas where we can monitor. And I know that we have in the PD a camera station where they're being monitored all day. So tell us about that, Chief. What goes on with regard to cameras?
So at the police department, we have what we call the Emergency Operations Center. And what that does is it gives live video to 2 camera monitors that we have actually stationed inside that room that view cameras all day long. That's their sole function. They go from school to school looking for any suspicious activity going on or around the perimeter of the school, to include when there is something going on that we need them to look into and look at, as been before where we activate the Emergency Operations Center for any given type of emergency type situation. They're keeping us abreast as to what's going on at the particular campus.
Very good. And one question I know the community wanted to know with regard to the training that our police department has. Talk to us about training. Talk to us, how many police officers do we have? What's the average tenure?
Okay, so thank you for that question. And I'm happy to share that we have 62 officers. We were blessed with an additional 19 in 2018 once the TRE passed. So the officers are fully vetted, fully certified Texas state peace officers. Everybody's gone through a police academy. We have the same powers as any other police officer in the state does. the average officer that we employ with our police department has 16.8 years of experience. And these particular officers go through training year-round, such as school-based law enforcement training, which is just a new thing that came out, so that school district police officers have to hold that certification. Mental health training, of course. Then you start getting into tactical style stuff, such as active shooter type situation, active attacker, things of that nature. But we're constantly going through those types of training. And I'm happy to say about a month ago, we ended up getting approved by TCO, which is our sanctioning body, Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, approved for us to become a contract training provider. And in essence, what that does is it allows us to train our own staff and other departments and actually report that training to TCO. So all that accumulates as time goes on.
And I'm sure that the community is happy to hear that with regard to the years of experience, with regard to the training that our police department has. And question for Captain, I know that we have relationships with multiple agencies, so it's not only McAllen ISD PD working in isolation. Can you talk to us about relationships that we have with other agencies?
Well, as you know, when it comes to the magnitude of emergencies, you can't do it alone. A lot of times you need your partners out there in the community. You're talking about local agencies, federal agencies, and most importantly, the emergency response when it comes to EMS and fire department. At this currently time, as a matter of fact, we're establishing it's called the Active Attack Incident Response Training that we're collaborating with the EMS and the fire department, not so much from McAllen, but also from Mission and so forth. So we do have a magnitude at that point. Those communities get together and address the problem.
And that's something that's reassuring for me as a dad, and I know for the moms and dads and uncles and aunts and grandmothers and grandfathers, is really the whole community, what we want to know. And that's the essence of why we're having this discussion with our chief and our captain, is just so that we tell our story and that everybody understands that McAllen ISD makes safety and security the priority before we educate children. We want to make sure that they're safe and secure. And when parents drop their children off at our schools, we want our parents to know that we have protocols in place to respond to any crisis that may occur, and that puts us in a position to be not only have one of the most robust police departments in the region, but also to educate children in safe environments based on systems and processes around safety and security. Jake, what was the last or the fourth rated thought?
Our fourth rated thought is they were asking for monthly drills and checking of all visitors. I've been on campus 3 times this month to volunteer. I have a large purse. It was never checked. It scares me. And that was just something that came up, but and they're concerned in regards to firearms.
Right, and rightfully so. And we do have a Raptor system that checks IDs for every person that comes in. Currently, we're not checking people's possessions with regard to purses and things of that nature, but rest assured that we do have officers on site. We do have administrators that are also trained. We do have systems and processes to ensure that if anybody seems suspicious, that we would definitely take that into account and ask further questions. As far as your perspective, Chief, on people entering the building, the training that you all have, officers and where they're positioned, what can you tell us about that?
So a lot of times what we want to do is we want the officers to be mobile, of course, right? You get a certain situation, you have something to respond to, you're able to respond to it in a timely manner. But we also want to be in positions where we're able to see who's going in and who's coming out. We end up training officers with regards to situational awareness, as to any type of bulging along the waistband, anything that they may seem that's suspicious. Obviously, we know that the only person that can carry a firearm on school district property is a Texas peace officer. So at that point, those individuals would be confronted, and we'd end up dealing with the situation as need be, and go into our specific emergency management protocols, with regards to it. But we always want to be where we're vigilant, awareness with regards to what's going on around us, being cognizant of individuals who shouldn't be there. A lot of times people, they end up turning a blind eye when they say, oh, somebody else will report it. We don't want that. We want people to come forward and tell us what's going on out there.
And I know that the other part of the question also made a reference to monthly drills, and we do that very well. We have an emergency management system. It involves the executive leadership team. It involves captain and chief, and this is where we come together when we have a situation that we need to set up a system around whatever the event may be. But We make sure that we set up for press releases. We set up for getting information out to the community. We set up for neutralizing whatever the event may be with the police department in the smoothest way possible. We practice our drills with regard to our fire drills and our lockout drills and our lock-in and all the different ways that we make sure to keep our kids safe. But we do practice our drills, and we do take inventory of our drills. And we do put messages out to parents when we have drills, because we want to make sure that if we're ever in a situation where we have to execute, and sometimes there's things going on in the city or in a neighborhood where we take precaution and maybe have a lockout, that it's not the first time that we've done it. We've done it through practice, and that puts us in a position to be efficient when we have to go into a real lockdown. So just rest assured to the community that we are practicing our drills, that we do have protocols in place, and that we're very proud of the fact that we do. As far as further questions for Chief and for Captain, I've been getting some questions with regard to equipment. What are our officers equipped with? What could you tell us about that?
Well, I'd like to answer that. Okay. Doc, basically our officers are trained in knowledge as equipment comes first. But secondary, a lot of people don't know that we have accessibility to long rifles in case the magnitude exceeds to a radiocritical active attack. We already train with the regional channel communication with the neighboring cities throughout the state. We had an incident similar past month, and a regional channel came in handy. So when you saying equip, of course the standardized equip is ballistic vest, radio, handgun, so forth. But I think we go beyond that we are prepared for a large critical incident.
And speaking of beyond that, and one of the things I'm very proud of, I know that a couple of years back we started a drone team. I mean, we have a military grade drone. Tell us about that.
So what the drone teams, it's a great tool, and we use that a lot for traffic assessments. We go out there and look at potential areas that may pose a danger, or it may be just be a traffic issue because of new things going on in the city. What it's also used for is if we're ever requested for a catastrophic event. In the case of a hurricane, we've gone out to Rockport, Texas, helped them out there, help FEMA. Somebody ends up, exiting the school. We don't know where somebody's at. It's good to put it up, start looking at, at a larger scoped area versus, small areas as the response comes in. So it's been a great tool for us to go out there and evaluate, but also do a search of individuals if need be. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be a student. It could be a suspicious person in the area. We can go out there and deploy it, and it's helped us look at where the individual's at and make contact.
And I think that's unique. So that another example to our community that we're going the extra mile. We're trying to be innovative and creative. We're trying to do our very best to position our patrol officers in areas where they have quadrants in the city where they can get to different schools in a timely manner. So our campus officers know that they have support that is very close by, whether it's their colleagues in McAllen ISD or whether it's the city of McAllen, who we have a very, very good relationship with, or the DPS or the FBI or the Border Patrol. I mean, you name it. We have a whole group of individuals that are trained to respond to crisis situations. And one thing that I've been asked is, how are we prepared for large-scale emergencies?
Well, as you know, Doc, you mentioned earlier that we do practice, and how we play is how we do it. So when it comes to practicing, you're talking about tabletops. You're talking about probably the most realistic part when it comes to emergency training. As you well know, and I guess because you headed and the chief has headed the Emergency Operations Center. That speaks to itself. When you're dealing with a magnitude, you need some support. We do follow the guidelines of FEMA when it comes to the incident command. Every school has a crisis team, from the principals, administrators, and nurses, and even down to the janitors, because they're the ones with the keys. So they know incident command. They know that there's a format that works when you're dealing with emergencies. Now, when you're dealing with a large scale, you're talking about partners. And when you're talking about fire department, local agencies, state, federal, they all know the FEMA standard response, which is the incident command. And that's how we get together to unify a command system.
One question that I have received from the community, and I will ask our captain, what processes do we have for dealing with a threat involving a weapon?
Well, first of all, we take it serious. But a lot of times it could be just a mention of a weapon. It could be a knife, a handgun, or any other blunt object. What we do, we go beyond of just a criminal investigation. We go on to get intel. For example, if a kid or a child or suspect mentions something about that, we go make contact with the parents. We inform them what the child did. First of all, we'll ask consent for the residents. Not that we're looking for the weapon, but we're looking for intel, like, are there any type of planning, preparation, or what have they been doing in the past? That's very important, because if there is an actual planning stage and there is also a plan to approach it, then it turns into a very criminal matter. So you have an attempt of doing a crime. So a lot of times other agents in the past have learned, like Columbine, for example, they had 2 years of preparing, planning. So they were building bombs. They were looking into the website to see how can we create a tragedy, or how can we do the attack. So those are the indicators that we try to find out. And of course, most importantly, it's credible threat.
And that's important because, I mean, there's always intel. We're always looking at what's going on in social media. We're taking all threats on social media very seriously. And one of the things, as a building principal, I was a principal in the district for 8-9 years and had the honor of working with police officers along the way. And in every administrative investigation we ever did, if it involved the PD, the utmost professionalism, a lot of attention to detail, and a big support for the administration. So as we implemented the student code of conduct, we worked in unison in cases that involved the PD, and just always very professional and always paying attention to detail. So as a practitioner at the campus level, and I know the same is true today, that you guys do a tremendous job in working with the administration. And that's something that we're very proud of as we keep our schools safe and educate our children. And I'm loving this conversation because, you know, one of the things is we're a high performing school district, and we have a legacy of excellence, and we have a wonderful community. And based on the incidents that have recently happened, you start to see, and rightfully so, but you start to see some comments on social media where it's really questioning the quality of what we're doing with regard to keeping kids safe. So that's the intent of the Super Talk is to neutralize those comments and to let the community know that we're not claiming to be perfect by any means. And this is a large organization. There's 3,600 employees. There's over 21,000 students. There's a lot of moving parts. There's multiple buildings, obviously, throughout the city. So to say that it's an easy task, it's not. But to say that we don't have systems and processes in place, that's not true. And I wanted to make sure that the community knew the facts with regard to where we are. I'm very proud of our police department in McAllen ISD. I'm very proud to have the relationship that we have with the city of McAllen and McAllen PD and all the other agencies, state and federal. So I wanted to let the community know that the safety of your children is our priority. And the gentleman that we're talking to right now lead this charge. And we're going to continue to strive to get better. And we're going to continue to work with our community. And we're going to continue to be transparent. And we're going to continue to push and push and push and just pursue excellence. But the fact of the matter is that a school district, a campus is a microcosm of society, is a microcosm of a community. So the situations that you have in a community will infiltrate into the school. But what we have is a student body that has proven to be high performing. We have students that do have issues, just like anybody else in any other city. But we have other programs that we're going to be talking about soon with regard to our family treatment program and how we work with students that are dealing with crisis situations and how we deal with families that are dealing with crisis situations. We'll be having that next Super Talk actually soon, next. This is the first day that we're going to do back-to-back Super Talks. We're also going to talk about how we've been on a quest for the last 6 years to raise the emotional quotient of the entire organization. We've actually made it a graduation requirement through transition in BIM for students to take deep dives on self-awareness and self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. We've worked it into our curriculum pre-K to 12 to make sure that we're working with students in that arena too, because many times students are dealing with a crisis situation And if they don't get the help that they need, that's when they may act out. And in our particular organization, we have systems and processes that we'll learn about in the next Super Talk. But Chief and Captain, is there anything else that you'd like the community to know before we break this Super Talk?
Well, what I want them to know, I've had numerous conversations today with numerous parents, and what I've communicated to them is I want everybody to know, for the sake of everybody in the district, staff and students, is that we will do everything and anything in our power to ensure that everyone goes home safe every single day. Rest assured.
And that makes me feel good as an educator. It makes me feel even better as a dad. I have 3 kids at the elementary, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. My wife's a teacher in the district too. So it's personal too. I know that I'm not I'm also a consumer, right? I happen to be an employee of the district, but I also have children here too. So from an empathy standpoint, believe me, I feel you. When I drop my kids off at school and my wife's at work, just the very same way that you want, I want them to come home, and I want them to come home safe, and I want them to come home happy. And that's why it's important that we share this information with you all, because we do have a robust police department, and we do have systems and processes that are in place to keep kids safe. And we're not claiming to be perfect, but we are claiming that we're pursuing excellence, and we're not going to stop. We're going to keep getting better. We're going to keep practicing. We're going to keep doing everything that we can to keep our kids safe. So based on the facts of the situation with regard to our police department and our safety protocols, I can say with a lot of confidence that your children are in good hands. And I understand that there's going to be people that are still going to question, that are still going to have concerns, and believe me, I respect that. And we'll learn from your concerns, and we'll keep trying to get better. But all I ask is that you be patient with us and you understand that we're doing our very best.
I wanna share that the statement that I just said a little while ago. I say wholeheartedly and sincerely, and a lot of people don't know this about me, is that I'm also a father within the district, and I also have my spouse in the district. So just like you know, I take it very, very seriously, not only from my job perspective, but also as a parent and a husband. So I want to put that out there and let people know, because I'm sending my child to school as well. My wife's going to work. And I want people to know that what we do it with that in mind. I do that with that in mind every single day when I send them off to school, knowing that we have some of the best officers in the state of Texas that come into work and they're truly passionate about what they do.
And I know that you have a rich experience in all the things that you've done, and I appreciate you, Captain and Chief. I appreciate you all very, very much, and I look forward to continuing to working with you all, and we'll keep our community informed as we progress, as we move forward. But to McAllen, Texas, McAllen ISD, the RGV, McAllen ISD is committed to safety and security. Thank you all for joining the Super Talk, and have a nice afternoon.